The first wave struck without warning. The second wave was more destructive. This was followed by a wave even more devastating. A wave of reporters, including our own Charlotte Glennie and the mesmerising Janet McIntyre. The tsunami brought out the best and the worst in all of us. The destruction here is horrific, but it's nothing compared to the devastation caused by a wave currently engulfing New Zealand. A wave that threatens to destroy our very national identity. An identity forged in blood, on foreign battlefields, in 2 world wars, and 5 World Cups.
It's over!
A wave made even more devastating for the fact that it is invisible. A wave of political correctness. And some of us have had it up to here. Tonight, on Eating Media Lunch, we ask, is our politically correct tail wagging the societal dog? New Zealanders weren't always so worried about political correctness. In fact, the very settlement of New Zealand was politically incorrect. In those days, racism was commonplace. Sexism went unchallenged because it was considered sexy. But in 1893, one of the first great politically correct initiatives took place when our bitches were given the vote. For the first time, our politics were more correct. Nonetheless, in the 1920s, gays were still being drowned at birth in this South Island river. And animals were made to smoke for our pleasure. During the war years, it was perfectly acceptable to be racist about people as long as you intended to kill them.
And that's another Christmas hamper for Tojo.
Kia ora, Leone, and may your personality and vital statistics bring you further success as Miss New Zealand 1961.
As late as the 1960s, it was still acceptable to compare women with meat.
In a cool pool in Paradise Valley, some whopping great rainbow trout get a fisheye view of some unusually tasty bait.
But change was afoot as women sought recognition for more than their tits and asses. By the 1970s, the feminist movement had forced men to realise that women could be used as more than just objects. Good. And yet, as late as 1979, scenes such as this were still common in many New Zealand schools.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist dog.
In the 1980s, the Springbok tour made even our national game un-PC for a while. It was the beginning of a sea change in Kiwi culture.
The gays are on the march.
A few years later, homosexuals were decriminalised, and we couldn't call them puffs or bum rooters anymore.
They've moved out of the beaches, the public toilets and discreet bars.
The Bible-balmy Christian right thought it was the beginning of the end. In fact, it was merely the beginning. But has political correctness gone mad? Kia ora, bro. Many say yes. In January, following complaints from disabled nature lovers, DOC spent $10 million adding wheelchair access to the Milford track. And last year, the traditional Kiwi battered hot dog was outlawed after policymakers deemed it too sexual. Has political correctness gone too far?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Totally too far.
Yes, definitely.
Our investigation has led us here, to what surely is the centre of political correctness, Parliament in New Zealand's capital, Wellington. It's interesting. You can actually smell the political correctness.
The term political correctness to me just is nothing. It's an empty meaningless word, because all it does is shut down debate.
That's not how ACT MP Muriel Newman sees it. She started a website called PC Free NZ and launched an aggressive T-shirt campaign. They're 100% cotton.
It came to my attention that people are getting really fed up with political correctness, and everywhere you go, people are talking about it.
Bloody PC bastards.
PC.
PC.
PC. PC. Political correctness.
Political correctness. Political correctness gone mad.
They've just had enough.
As a smoking bisexual Māori solo mum...
The problem is it's like a juggernaut and they don't know when to stop. It did emanate from the communists back in the 1920s. Minority groups. What's the roles of fathers today? Privileges over the majority, and if you speak out against them, you're called a racist, an anti-feminist, homophobe, a redneck, having gone far too far. Special privilege for Maori. It's ended up by muzzling free speech.
Little wonder then the PC revolution has already claimed a number of high-profile victims.
G'day, how are you? I'm Graham Lowe, and welcome to Lowy's Barbie.
Recently, Lowy flew the coop to Aussie, claiming New Zealand had become too PC.
It just frustrates me. Not only sport, I mean everything.
Graham Lowe has left New Zealand. I mean, how long is it before we lose someone like Sir Edmund Hillary? You know.
I think Sir Ed is probably a bit too old to think about packing his bags and going, but I think the point is a good one.
Do we care if people leave because they want to be bigoted, racist, sexist, whatever they want to be? If they think that an acceptance of diversity is a bad thing, do we want them in New Zealand?
The problem is we've got a major problem in this country with the Warriors, and he possibly could have sorted it out. But it's not just grandstanding politicians, broadcasters and league legends who can't get it up.
Cialis is the new treatment for erection problems.
The anti-PC agenda has even emerged as a powerful marketing tool. This ad for vodka caused a bit of a fuss, not because it was politically incorrect, but because it was unfunny.
Made right here in Sydney, New Zealand.
This ad for an Australian telco was more successful.
Because people ring at the worst possible times. Vodacom's offers a Bluetooth hands-free set with every new subscription.
Oh, g'day, Dad. Yeah, I'm on the cross.
Hands-free calling with Vodacom's. Call now to sign up.
You'd be a mug not to.
What the PC debate seems to suggest is that people don't know what's right or wrong anymore. Which may explain why some long for a return to the black and white simplicities of a bygone era. Isn't New Zealand a better place now than it was 30 years ago, though?
I guess you're right.
New Zealand is ranked 2 on the list of politically correct OECD nations, second only to Sweden. At the other end of the scale is Saudi Arabia, which recently became the first country in the world to ban the female orgasm. And just so you know, New Zealand's political correctness currently sits at 49%. Still to come, the most shocking moments of 2005, a current affairs three-way with Holmes giving Campbell the reach around as Wood watches on, and our very own wing on South Park.
Boy, am I angry!
Bim bam boom, la mulatona Merced, arrollando va detrás de la comparsa. Bim bam boom, bim bam.
Huh?
According to experts, 2005 is already the most shocking year since records began. It started a little weird and has progressively deteriorated on an almost daily basis. We look back now at the moments that have shaped us, shocked us, shamed us, and sent us sideways. The year began with something that few thought possible. An election in Iraq. A near miracle given that these are the guys who helped it happen. Meanwhile, the civilian death toll edges towards 20,000.
Nice ass.
Reality TV hit a new low in late January as Quest for Success helped loser Kiwis become winners at their own expense.
Would you be prepared to spend $2,000? This is to help you. $2,000 to go to Los Angeles and spend a few days with Kylie Bax.
Oh my God.
Then supermodel Kylie Bax helped the girl to buy a Von Dutch t-shirt. There was no mud slung at this year's Waitangi, but it gave us the photo opportunity of the year. Later that same day, Eric Young was involved in a politically incorrect cock-up on One News.
Tonight, Waitangi faces its annual dilemma. What will we get this year? A true celebration or another ugly protest?
Daphne, our top celebrity duck, was killed by golf-crazy humans.
This is what greeted staff early this morning. The word murderer deliberately and indelibly written across one of the greens.
Animal nutters quacked like brainless weckers. Meanwhile, Beijing duck remained a popular choice at restaurants around the country.
Today, Daphne's supporters and caregivers have gone to the island to bury her.
Christians caused a ruckus at the big gay out. Onlookers commented how sad it was that, like the word gay, the word Christian has been hijacked. It used to mean caring, decent folk. It's now used to refer to tools like this banner.
No, I'm not from Destiny Church. I don't agree with everything they do. But I do wish to tell you this much. I respect them for standing up for the filth and perversion of sodomy in this nation.
Then TV1 showed us Jonah's kidney. The Yanks have the Jackson trial, but we had Dixon, a one-man anti-P campaign whose hair crimes equalled his horrific methamphetamine murder and samurai slashing. He even inspired a top-selling t-shirt and a war of words between Vodafone and Metro magazine. After they published this look-alike, it was a classic multinational meltdown.
I'm disgusted. Tim is an inspirational leader who has helped make the mobile future a reality for all New Zealanders. Fraser King, Vodafone.
Te Kaha went to court in makeup after flogging some shellfish.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of greed.
John and Carol called it a day as our ebony and ivory news bitches. And Campbell gave the best sign-off ever.
Right, drink this.
Once again, a Kiwi did us proud at the Oscars. Taika Waititi's Two Cars One Night was a top film, but his sleeping prank was even better. Although 3 News raised some concerns and seemed to be hinting at pee abuse on the film's set.
I was getting boring, but then they gave us this stuff and kept us awake.
Whatever it was, maybe they should have given some to director Waititi too. Michael Turner, 3 News.
Meanwhile, Prime had another clusterfuck on its hands.
Jesus Christ, fuck shit.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking cocksucker.
Cocksucker. Fuck you.
Fuck shit.
Fucking cunts.
Cocksuckers.
Fuck shit, cocksucker. Fucking dick cocksuckers. Having heavy-thumbed motherfucker.
The show Deadwood contained more uses of the F word than any other show in history. There's even a website devoted to it. By March, things had got even worse. For only 5 easy payments of $49.95, you too could be the proud owner of the all-black baby, complete with fake vinyl skin. Michael Jackson went to court and the E! Channel went to town.
He was jerking around and he grabbed the mannequin.
I can't hear you.
Your Honor, I think it's a little hard for Mr. Jackson to hear you.
Please speak up.
Brian had another big anti-gay hoolie and got flashed for his trouble.
Homophobia's got to go!
And just a few days later, some rogue feral mongs got their tits out for Prince Charles.
It's something this in a leave her alone!
The Greymouth tornado gave us some great AmCam.
What the f***'s that?
Don Brash published a biography, and Evie Ashton asked his wife if she was getting any.
Now tell me about romance in your lives then. Is there romance? J-Lo?
There's not much time. There's not much time.
Let's ask
not
you.
Much time for romance, actually.
Don is right. There isn't much time in a political life for romance, but he can be incredibly romantic, and then, like a lot of Kiwis, he can also pass it by.
Just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, the Woman's Day shocked us with this Mike Hosking shocking shocker. A new low, even for a hag rag. Then the Women's Weekly shocked us with the news that Harper and cricket had moved in together. It may have been a shocking year for Prince Charles, but on Friday he gets married to longtime lover Camilla Parker Bowles. Joining us now live from the Dorchester Hotel in London, CNN royal watcher Robert Jobson. Good evening, Robert. Firstly, let's talk about Diana. She may have been the Queen of Hearts, but she had a particularly shit taste in men, didn't she?
Well, she didn't do too well on the lovers, it seems to me. I mean, some of the guys she picked were either blabbermouths or foolhardy. The reality is that she said there were 3 people in their marriage, Charles, Camilla and her. In reality, if you count up her lovers too, there were sort of 6 or 7 at the very least. So the reality is she didn't have a good choice in men, but perhaps if Charles had shown a bit more attention to her as a young woman that she was, then maybe she wouldn't have strayed.
Do you think Harry is from Charles' sperm, or do you think he wiggled his way out of James Hewitt's member?
I'm not going to get involved in all that, but the reality is, in the book I wrote, which was Diana, Closely Guarded Secret, which was with Diana's bodyguard, Ken Wolfe, it's quite clear that Diana hadn't even met James Hewitt when Harry was conceived. So unless you're dealing in some sort of miracle, then I don't think that's true.
Who, in your opinion, is better in the sack, Camilla or Diana?
Not going to answer that question. I have no idea.
Some people would liken you to one of those birds that sit on the top of a rhinoceros and pick at the weevils and the nits in them. Do you think that's a fair comparison? Well answered. Robert Jobson, live from London. Still to come, a current affairs three-way with Holmes giving Campbell the reach around as Wood watches on, and our very own wing on South Park. To the celebrity share market now, an illegal Tegel shocker as Capel fulfills his destiny. Jesus. The Hotter Than Vindaloo Flipside host becomes Miss India, medium hot, double murderer and phone sex shenanigans. Tamahiri begins meltdown comparing TV3 news boss to Hitler. And congratulations to Wing, the Asian songbird has been immortalised in South Park. 7 o'clock used to be a simple time for TV addicts. Holmes on 1, Shorty Street on 2 and The Simpsons on 3. But life isn't so simple anymore. The current affairs wars are upon us and the bodies are already starting to pile up. It was gloves off as Holmes went to where in February. First stop, One Tree Hill to plant a tree.
A Maori and a Pākehā, we're planting the tree.
And who more qualified to comment than New Zealand Idol second placer Michael Murphy?
Well, I definitely think there should be a tree out there, so the fact that they're pulling them down is a bit wrong, well, I believe so.
Maybe instead of a tree, they should put one of your CDs there. No one would take that.
No, very good. Cheeky sod.
Close-Up had the viewers, but Holmes was the most entertaining show in town. Viewers' texts were a particular highlight. Even Holmes's daughter Millie got in on the action. And Cher egged him on to bag his former bosses.
Wait, now do you want to tell me why you left the other place?
Why I left the other place?
Yeah, the last job.
I was sick of it.
Okay. They sucked, right?
Yeah, they sucked.
Okay, good. You gotta go when you gotta go.
TV reviewer Fiona Ray described it as
a sort of flip side for senior citizens and talkback radio idiots.
Good evening. You want to talk to Brian?
I'd just like to know how come he ends up wearing better designer clothes than anybody I've ever known, and for a man of God, he should be thinking of his own parish.
Well, hang on, a man of God can be...
designer clothes.
Man of God can be spunky. Can't a man of God be spunky? That's a beautiful jacket, if I may say so.
Meaner still, the Herald ran a daily ratings watch and gloated as Holmesy's ratings headed for the margin of error.
Those were our... You were our people today.
Bill Ralston made a colourful suggestion that involved Prime boss Chris Taylor. Then John Campbell joined the party.
G'day everyone, Hardy Mo, welcome back. It's really nice
taking his cue from the highly successful Brotown, launched with an Asian-bashing corker of a story. Talkback radio exploded.
News took to be 11:29. Eddie, morning.
Yeah, g'day, Leighton. Look, I agree with John Campbell. These Asian buggers have been giving us the runaround since the gold rush. Now, I knew a Chinaman down in the Kaimais, or was it the Pomeranian?
So now we have three current affairs buns to keep us fat. But which one is best? To find out, the boffins at Victoria University carried out a study using mice. Each mouse was exposed to a week of each show.
If you arrive in New Zealand with a licence from another country, you can drive here on that licence for up to a year.
And if you remember from Charlotte's story about the 2 crisis patients at the clinic...
A control mouse was exposed only to books. The Holmes mouse showed dangerously low levels of mana and soon turned on its cage mate. The Campbell mouse seemed marvellous at first, but later died in a pocket accident. While the wood/close-up mouse spontaneously combusted. Attempts to revive it were unsuccessful. A disappointing end to the experiment. And that's our show. Coming up next week, we join Brian Tamaki and over 10,000 New Zealanders protesting for traditional family values. From all of us here at Eating Media Lunch. At number 79, Loey's Barbie was, well, what was it?
What would you prefer?
Helen,
what would you prefer? White, thank you. White for you. I'll have a white as well.
In my arms, she will be.
Very good.
Moana, my Helen. Moana, Marie.
New version. New version. Well done.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you go, boss. Tell you what, there's been a lot of people, a lot of us in New Zealand have danced and been cheek to cheek listening to that sort of music, and also been around the barbecue singing that sort of stuff. It's just fantastic.
I'll kiss you.
It doesn't age. I'll tell you what, I've been kissed by worse. I'll tell you that, I've been kissed by worse.